Welcome to Graveside Walks. Please give this video a like if you enjoy it. Now let's begin. Today we will look for the grave of Joseph Thomas Sheridan Le Fanu, who was born on the 28th of August 1814 in Lower Dominic Street, Dublin. He was an Irish writer of Gothic novels, horror fiction, mystery novels and sensation novels. His family were a mix of Huguenot, English and Irish ancestry, and part of the Anglican ascendancy, the Protestant elites that ruled Ireland. His grandmother, Alicia Sheridan Le Fanu, was a playwright, as was his great-uncle, Richard Brinsley Sheridan. Le Fanu spent his early childhood in the peaceful surroundings of the Phoenix Park, where his father, a Church of Ireland clergyman, had been appointed chaplain to the Royal Hibernian Military School in 1815. This provided him with inspiration for his semi-nostalgic portrayal of 18th century chapel Izzard in the novel The House by the Churchyard in 1863. He was privately educated at home by a tutor and later attended Trinity College Dublin, where he was active in the Historical Society. He became associated with the Dublin University magazine after coming into contact with young Tory intellectuals. Le Fanu's first published story appeared in the magazine in January 1838. It was the first of a series of ghost stories, eventually collected in 1880 as the Personal Papers. They are mostly set in Ireland and include some classic stories of Gothic horror, with gloomy castles, supernatural visitations from beyond the grave, madness and suicide. Le Fanu studied law at the King's Inns and was called to the bar in 1839, but was not very successful. In 1840 he purchased The Warder, a Dublin Tory evening paper which he retained until 1870, and The Statesman, a less successful paper, which ceased publication in 1846. These acquisitions were financed by loans which had added to his considerable indebtedness. On the 18th of December 1843, Le Fanu married Susanna Bennett, the daughter of a leading Dublin barrister. They went to live in Warrington Place near the Grand Canal, Dublin. They had 2 sons and 2 daughters. Susanna's parents retired in 1856 and returned to England, so the Le Fanus took up residence in their home at 18 Merrion Square. It is also around this time that his wife started to have increasing neurotic symptoms. She was also having a crisis of faith and stopped attending services. In the last year of her life, Susanna Le Fanu suffered from intense depression and anxiety after the deaths of several close relatives, including her father 2 years before. This may have caused problems in their marriage. In April 1858, she suffered an hysterical attack and died the following day in unclear circumstances. The anguish of Le Fanu's diaries suggests that he felt guilt as well as loss. From then on, he did not write any fiction until the death of his mother in 1861. Le Fanu is one of the outstanding writers of the Victorian ghost and horror story, and his Gothic tales were highly regarded at the time of publication. His vampire tale, Carmilla in 1872, is one of the sources of Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1897. Le Fanu's unsettling vision can also be traced in the development of British horror film, notably in the form of horror movies of the late 1950s and 60s. His reputation chiefly rests upon his ghost stories, notably the 5, including Carmilla, collected in a glass darkly in 1872, supposedly from the notebooks of the spirit doctor, Dr. Martin Hesselius, who was a model for Bram Stoker's Van Helsing. Carl Theodor Dreyer's classic 1932 film Vampire is a loose adaptation. In later life, Le Fanu's habits were noticeably reclusive, and in Dublin he was nicknamed the Invisible Prince. His bio-bibliographer, Gary Cowper, however, suggests that this feature of his character may have been retrospectively exaggerated by his son Brinsley when promoting his father's reputation as a master of the macabre. He died on the 7th of February 1873 of bronchitis at his home in number 18 Merrion Square, Dublin, and was buried on the 11th of February at Mount Jerome Cemetery.